Morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Another great night yesterday. Happy about that. 3-0. Maryland leads the charge. I'll do Maryland here in a second. Connecticut, really good. I really felt good about that game. Marquette hung around, but UConn's defense, really solid. And UConn's peaking here. I'm telling you, I really like UConn again. I don't know if they can get all the way back to the Final Four, but they'll probably be a 6, 7 seed, depending on how the Big East tournament shapes up and I just love the way they're playing. So that was a good win. Florida game was lucky. Florida, Alabama. Florida really dominated that game pretty much the entire way through. Had the lead. Alabama tried to fight back. The game went over. Got lucky about that as it was free throws, free throws, free throws. That's my main promise to myself. I said a couple weeks ago. I get to this tournament, just stay away from these unders unless you're going to do it for the first half because you're just going to be devastated watching the free throw barrage at the end. And yeah, not Auburn. Florida's got really good free throw shooters. Really, everybody in the SEC, those top teams, Florida, Alabama, Florida, Alabama, and Auburn, all have really good shooters. At the end of the game, Tennessee lost a heartbreaker for them. Didn't really matter too much since Alabama lost and trying to figure out who's going to get the 1 seed. I still think Tennessee's got the inside shot after that win over Alabama. They lose to Ole Miss. That SEC is just a gauntlet. So, what else happened yesterday? Oklahoma beat Missouri. That was a big win for Oklahoma. Missouri, that'd be another team to stay away from once this tournament rolls around. They just don't play enough defense. If you're going to listen here and get some advice from me going into the tournament, I'm going to favor the teams that can play lockdown defense. So that's the way I prefer my basketball. And speaking of which, let's do Maryland here because Maryland just put the clamps on Michigan yesterday, held them to 22 points in the first half. And then every time Michigan made a run in the second half, Maryland made a big shot. And then the end of the game, they just didn't let Michigan score. I said it multiple times now for the past few weeks. Michigan is not an elite team for one simple reason. They just turn the ball over at an extraordinary rate. It was mind-boggling to see their numbers and the fact that they had such a great record before this past few weeks, but they turned the ball over all the time, and they did it down the stretch. Some of it was Maryland making some good plays, and other was just ill-advised passes from Michigan. Wolf and Golden, the two big white guys from Michigan, I don't know if dominate's the right word, but they certainly won the battle on their side on offense. As Reese and Queen just did not have much of an answer for them. Wolf in particular made a lot of big shots. But on the other end, Queen showed himself offensively. It's been the theme with him all season long is if he doesn't play elite defense, Maryland's going to have a ceiling because Reese is just not big enough. And you get some of these big teams. And Queen, his defense was okay. His rebounding was pretty elite at the end of the game. I thought he did a great job rebounding the ball, had one nice block. But, just that defense inside is not great. So that's how Michigan got back in the game, opened up the outside for him. But to close it out, it's just a lot of turnovers. Maryland didn't even get a field goal for like the last 6 minutes and change. And their free throw shooting was They made them down the stretch. But throughout the game, it was just They got to be better at the free throw line. Rice made he's an incredible shot maker. I feel the best when the ball's in his hands. I think he's going to be an NBA player. Just absolutely love him. He's just such a big time shot maker. Wants the ball. Gillespie made a couple shots yesterday when we needed them. It took him a minute to get going, and they just grinded it out. Geronimo, the senior, he's looks like he's going to be favored to be the sixth man here off the bench, as Willard does not love using the bench. It's going to be interesting to see how much he leans on it when it comes to the tournament because it's 2 weekends, right? Like in that second game, if you don't have the fresh legs, whether it's that second round game or going into the Elite Eight the following weekend, you got to have legs. And Geronimo came in really out of necessity because Reese had the foul trouble, but it seems like Gapar's kind of fallen out of the rotation since his injury. I like Young more than Deshaun Harris-Smith, but both of them just don't really get much run. And I don't know. We'll see if it bites Maryland here in the tournament. But Maryland put on a hell of a performance defensively yesterday. Really proud to be a fan of this team, the way they bounced back after Michigan State, and the way the tiebreakers all shake out in the Big Ten. Take my word for it. Maryland's going to get the bye. It is guaranteed as long as they win this game against Northwestern. So if Michigan beats Michigan State and Purdue wins and Wisconsin wins, Wisconsin's got a game this weekend and Purdue plays tomorrow night. If everybody just wins out, the way the tiebreakers work, Maryland's beaten Purdue, beat Wisconsin, lost to Purdue. Wisconsin lost to Maryland, beat Purdue. Purdue beat whatever. Just take my word that they've all beaten each other, and then it goes to the next tiebreaker, which is what's the record against Michigan State, who would be the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament. All three teams have lost to them. And so by the time you go to the next tiebreaker, I forget exactly what it is, but Maryland's in there. So I was listening to a Wisconsin pod late last night after they beat Minnesota as they're trying to figure out if they can get the double bye. So 4 teams get it, and Wisconsin's got to figure it out with Purdue. And then there's a scenario where Michigan, I guess not a scenario, most likely at this point, that Michigan loses to Michigan State this weekend. Maryland wins, Purdue wins, and Wisconsin wins, and then all 4 teams would be tied for the 2 seed with only 3 of them making it. And again, forget the tiebreakers. I stopped listening once I found out Maryland automatically gets them. So Maryland just has to beat Northwestern at home, senior night, and it should be an amazing crowd. It's a 3 o'clock game, and almost like a celebration of this season. Really be shocking to me if Maryland doesn't beat the crap out of Northwestern, especially since it's a revenge game. I don't really see it being a letdown. Northwestern beat us in overtime at the buzzer. God, what a terrible game that was. So Maryland should come out and dominate and beat the crap out of Northwestern, and if that's the case, they're going to get a double bye. So the way that I look at everything, based on all the projections and just my logic of breaking down where I think the bracket's going to end up, I got Maryland as a 4 seed. If they lose the first game in the Big Ten tournament, maybe they still can squeak a 3. But then I think they get a 3 seed as long as they win that first game. So they're going to get a double bye. So they win one of those games. Even if they win the Big Ten tournament, I don't know if it bumps them all the way up to a 2 seed. See how the rest of it shakes out. But I have a feeling Maryland's going to get the 3 seed or the 4 seed, and it'll depend on if they win one Big Ten tournament game. I'd be shocked if it's worse than a 4 seed. This is assuming they beat Northwestern, but I'd be shocked if it's a 4 seed. I think the way they finished the year and the fact that they've lost so many close games on the road, they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. They played a good schedule. I think Maryland put themselves in a position where it's fun to be a fan, of this team, and they have the ceiling of the Final Four. I don't want to say they're a dominant team. Would it be the most shocking thing in the world if they ran into the wrong team in the first round? Probably not, if we're being honest about it. But their ceiling, the way they play defense last night on the road and the shot making they have, yeah, they can go as far as anybody. So see what happens on Saturday. And then the Big Ten tournament is this week, or the following week, I should say. And then the selection is on Sunday. So, all right, I will hopefully keep producing some winners. We'll see how this goes. Feeling pretty good about things right this second. Got my record, over 500 at the moment. So I'll have more bets out. I don't know if I will love anything tonight. It's a little bit of a lighter schedule, but definitely this weekend we'll have some things out. And then we're 3 weeks away from opening day. Baltimore is in Toronto. One thing benefits that the opening day is on the road, and the fact that it's in Toronto, we're in a dome, so we don't have off on Friday, which I hate having that off day. You get so hyped for opening day, and then it's off on Friday, and then you have to wait till Saturday. So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all 4 games in Toronto, 3 weeks away from that. Start to break down the roster as we get closer, but barring injuries on the pitching staff, it looks like it's all set, and I think it's going to be all set on the position players. It looks like they have their team. Be shocked to see, I'll go over it again next week, but I'd be shocked to see any changes to the projected 26-man roster to start. Then we'll see when Mateo comes back and some of the other pitchers are healthier, and we'll see what happens. But all right, have a good day, guys. Good luck on bets, and whatnot, and I'll have yeah, if I like anything, I'll have it out later. See you guys.